إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يقول الحق سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الحكيم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is worthy to be praised. We thank Him, we revere Him, we seek His help, and we seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from our bad deeds and bad intentions. Whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, there is no one to lead astray, and for those who are misguided, there is no one to lead to a straight path. And I bear witness and testify that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and that Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, is his final prophet and messenger, alayhi salatu wassalam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, O mankind, fear your Lord and love Him equally, who created you from a single soul, and from that soul He created its mate, and from that original couple He created many men and women. And fear and love your Lord equally by the warm relation that bore you, and know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fully acquainted with all of your actions. Before I start the khutbah, I would like to remind myself and you of a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam that talks about when the Imam is giving the khutbah on the day of Friday, and you are sitting and you tell your friend or the person sitting next to you, unsit, listen, فَقَدْ لَغَوْتَ, you have then spoken. وَمَنْ لَغَى فَلَا جُمْعَةَ لَهُ أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. And whoever talks, the reward of the Jum'ah is then nullified. So I'd like to remind myself and you to pay attention. It's a very, inshallah, short khutbah. Give me 15-20 minutes and we'll be off to whatever the day remains, with gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He requires of us. We are blessed to have monumental events in our lives from time to time, and we are still living under the shadow of the Hijrah of the beloved Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. But I'd like to put on the Hijrah a twist that is relevant to the young men and women. And by the way, all the ages are young and healthy, despite the age or the numbers we attach to our driver's license. Because the youth is a state of mind. And we saw with the companions of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, from the very young of age to the very mature and wise, they were constantly adapting to whatever he came with. And the Hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is truly a monumental event in by itself. And I'm not going to talk about the details, who was in the ghar and how did they travel. All of that, I'm quite certain mashayikh before me have spoken vividly about. But I would like to reflect on three major points. Is to have always a positive outlook on life, and to have strong belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's number one. Number two is to always look that Allah will support what you are doing if the connection is there. And number three and final is we have to adapt to the needs of the environment we are living in on a constant basis. The Hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, within its folds, created what we call, what I refer to as social revolution. And of course we get stressed out when a Muslim with a beard and a kufi is talking about the revolution. No, we talk about social revolution when the Rasul ﷺ went from Mecca to Medina, and the very first thing he established socially, he made everybody brother and sister. He did not differentiate between them. This is the Aus, this is the Khazraj, you are better than the other. No, he said all of you are equal. The Muhajirin were equal to the Ansar, and the Ansar within themselves were equal, and the people had rights and they had responsibilities. And he removed what we suffer from today, something called racism. Racism when my tribe is better than yours just because I did select, supposedly, the tribe I was born into. And I'm quite certain nobody in this room would concur with the fact that did anybody ever select the family that they were born into? No one. Did I choose my skin color? Absolutely not. But Allah gave me these presets of things so I could get to know the other person. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Hujurat, an ayah that we all know. إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. Verily we have created you from man and woman, and we made you into nations and tribes. And he's talking about all human beings. Verily the best amongst you are the most righteous. So there was a social revolution that happened. And people knew that the very first established institution when the Rasul ﷺ migrated from Mecca to Medina was the masjid. The masjid, as humble as it was the center for every single person to come, to make dhikr Allah, to know other members of society, to talk about the affairs that were contemporary of the time, and discuss issues that were of concern to the Muslims. They had meetings, they had prisons, even when time of war, people were held in the masjid. So the masjid was the cornerstone. And this is extremely important in the 21st century. We have to make of the masjid the cornerstone of our lives. Whether it's closer to the place of work, or the place of residence, or it's our heart that is constantly related or attached to a place that is called the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because what would life be if that connection is missing? If that connection doesn't exist, what would be the reason for our being? What would be the objective? What would be the slogan if we want to create a mission for our lives? Why does Mohammad Elfilali exist? If it weren't for that strong connection, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that my relationship with the masjid is strong. As I know my brothers and sisters sitting before me, their relationship is strong. I'm not saying it to the people who are heedless, they're not paying attention, but I'm saying it to the people who are in the masjid. And our relationship to the masjid is not something that we come on Fridays, or we come because we're told by our parents or our teachers, but it is something that should be within our hearts on a regular basis. What are the issues of the Muslims? What should be the concern of the Ummah? And the Ummah today, it is not just North Bergen, ICPC, or TNEC, or this, that, or the other one, but the Ummah stretches from the far east to the far west of the globe. If my Muslim brothers in the far corners of the earth are suffering, I should feel that pain, and I should think by my connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to find solution to that problem. Not be part of the problem. Not be on the sideline just observant. Just to see or to repeat the news. This person did, and the other person said, and she said, and he said, and we become just recycling some information, whether it's relevant or not, whether it's accurate or not, but we become participants in this recycling of information without finding solutions to the problem. So the attachment to the masjid in by itself should be, what is the solution to the problem? How could I connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely and entirely, that my life rotates around this subject? In short, we must live for something that is bigger than us. Otherwise, we may have missed the opportunity to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we belong to this ummah of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. The migration of the beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ teaches us positive thinking, optimism. When the obstacle is there, it becomes an opportunity to rise above it. When studies become hard, it is not just to throw the pencil and to complain to our parents, we can't study no more, the teacher does not know what they're doing, and I quit. Now we should find other ways to learn. When life becomes difficult, the Rasul ﷺ and his companions could have easily said, you know, we've did what we could. We don't have to migrate from Mecca. Mecca is very special, and it has the Kaaba, where the prayers count for 100,000 prayers. Why do I need to go in the desert to travel to Medina, where it's brand new, and I don't know what it is? It is that positive outlook onto life, having certainty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them tawfiq. My question to all of us, what is our position vis-a-vis that tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Knowing for certain that we are successful. That no matter what the difficulty is, ease is just around the corner. But we must seek to overcome that obstacle for us to see the true success. What we see today in the Ummah, occupation, killing, slaughtering, exiling, people dying in the ocean, people are seeking better life, and we are sitting sometimes bleeding from inside with cries of pain and sorrow, and we feel shackled that we can't do anything. That is the wrong feeling to have. The Rasul ﷺ taught us in his migration that there is always a solution to the problem. It's just how hard we want to seek that solution, and who should we rely on in the process. Yes, we must exert a lot of effort, no doubt. That's always the truth. If somebody wants to eat today, they're not going to wait for the plate to come from the kitchen to them. They must seek that food or that nourishment. And that's very simple. What if we want to succeed in this life and the hereafter? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the tools and showed us in the example of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ true lessons for us to learn. Not just some epic story that we glorify and we talk about once a year, but something we embody every single moment of our lives. To be successful, we must know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one who can give us tawfiq. Absolutely no one else. Hence, we must follow the path that He made for us. We must be just. We must be correct. We must be honest. We must be truthful. We must be sincere. We must be hard workers. And at the same time, exerting this effort, we would nullify all those negative images or feelings or actions that we have within us. There is no human being on the face of the planet that lacks negativity or shortcomings. There is not one single person. But the sad part is when we become, the title of our personalities become just that negativity, or the lack of action, or desperation, or frustration, or lack of thinking even about solutions. We just give up. We throw in the towel and we say, khalas. And we become complying with the conspiracy theory. Oh, it's such and such group of people that have it made up. And that people could have designed it or not designed it, but we make of them the biggest of image, the monsters that don't exist. And they are all virtual monsters that we have created within ourselves. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly reminds us in the Hijrah of the Prophet that it is sincere action, hard work, and persistent that brings about success. Because when you hear the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ traveling, and very few people traveled with him from Mecca to Medina, you think, if we were to look at it just from the numbers, we would say like, oh, their rate of success will be extremely minimal. Extremely minimal. Oh, just few people. They don't have any horses. They don't have any money. They don't have anything. That's from our myopic view of things. Very narrow-minded. But what they had is what sometimes we lack. Is that belief and sincere attachment and tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tawfiq from Allah. Something in the 21st century we are much more in need of it than anybody else. So I say to my younger brothers and sisters, when you have a difficulty in life, persist, work harder, and know that the tawfiq comes from Allah. When you don't know your studies, when you have a difficulty with your social affairs, know that the tawfiq comes from Allah. That you have to press on. There's no such thing as quitting. That's not something that the Muslims do. Never. We don't quit. We absolutely don't quit. There's no quitting. There's none. That's not something of our personalities. Though sometimes we find it as part of our discourse. Oh, look at those guys, they have the money. Oh, look at those guys, they have the best lawyers. Oh, look at those guys, they're conspiring against us. Oh, what are we? What do we have? Oh, we have some rulers that are not the best rulers, and we have this, and we have that. And we talk about negative issues as they are the only thing that we have. We lack for here in the United States to talk about something that we have done in the last 30 years that no other group has done in 30 years in the short period of their existence in the United States. We have some of the most educated human beings in this country. We have some of the best incomes in this country. We have some of the most diverse groups of people in this country. We have Muslims that are, just by looking at you, and looking at myself, we have all the 5 continents sitting in this room. What other religion at 12 o'clock on a Friday could bring this group of people under one roof? What organization? It is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what we have of the positive is far greater than what we have of our shortcomings. Focus on the positive and know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one that gives tawfiq, as he did to the Prophet Muhammad and his companions. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ويفوز المستغفرين. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. I advise you and myself to have taqwa in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be pious, to be righteous at all times, both in public and in private, and to love Him equally as you would want to fear Him and be concerned about His wrath. We spoke about the positive outlook onto life, and we spoke about that the tawfiq only comes from Allah. Success, its source is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Third and final point, if I may, when we talk about the hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, we always refer to the masjid as the primary institution that was built, rightfully so. The cornerstone of any society, if it's not spiritual, highly moral, highly dedicated with a clear vision, there would not be any success. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ pushed and made it a point to deal with an issue that was of a major concern of his time. And you'll find sometimes the best of ideas with all the sense of morality, but sometimes when they lack in the economical strength, those ideas will falter. The second thing that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ established in Medina was the marketplace, a souk. So he addressed, by his mere presence in Medina, he addressed many issues that were extremely troubling to the people of Medina and the peninsula. He addressed the social issues. He addressed the spiritual, moral concerns and vacuum that they had. But he did not just talk about some spiritual in the abstract sense but he spoke about the spiritual and moral when it comes to transactions between people. Exchange of money that our society and our ummah today suffers from, particularly here in the United States. When there's constant negativity and betrayals and cheating and conniving and this, that, and the other one, and rumors. Oh, this person took my money, and this person, I stole his, and this, and that, and the other one, where we lose sense of trust between us. How great is this society or family if the trust is lost? What value does it have if we cannot trust each other? The Rasul alayhi salatu salam established the marketplace to say that the deen of Allah is just something that we speak about in the abstract, but it is a tangible, concrete, something you feel with your eyes and hands, and it is measurable in changing the lives of the people when it's introduced properly. The Rasul alayhi salatu salam established in the market, he wanted the society to be prosperous. This is a false idea that the Muslims need to be poor. I have no idea where it comes from. Maybe it comes from the idea that it's foreign to us, that money is the root of all evil. No, it is not. People, if they deviate from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they become the root of all evil, whether they have money or not. Money is necessity for human beings, but we have to put them in our hands, as they say, not in our hearts. And sadly today, we could say freely, it is a rampant 21st century disease that the money has infiltrated the hearts, the minds, and the spirits, and it doesn't reach the hands to be exchanged with the other. Or we live in a very selfish environment. Me, myself, and I, as I call it, the three-man island. Three-man islands are floating around and they have no connection with each other. And the message to my young men and young women in the room today, when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ looked for the problem and identified the problem, he just did not identify it and let it be. He finds solutions to it. As you today will have to find solutions to all of the problems that exist. Still we are facing racism. We're still facing social injustice. We're still facing a lot of issues. We're facing corrupt politicians. We're facing corrupt media outlets. It is part of the Muslims' responsibility, young and old, to improve their affairs with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we need to improve the relationship with our societies that we live in, so we could be influential in this life and could be, inshallah, appropriately rewarded in the hereafter. This is the responsibility, and this is the message from the Hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad. It is something that we need to pay close attention to. It is something that we need to embody in our lives. I'll recap. We need to have a positive outlook onto life. Know for a fact that the success comes only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and constantly be on the lookout for any problems in society, whether within our limited society or the large society, to correct it so we could be prosperous in this life and most successful in the hereafter. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us knowledge and to benefit from it. Allahumma ighfir lana warhamna. واهدنا وتب علينا وتجاوز عن سيئاتنا. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم لا تدع لنا في مقامنا هذا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا أعنتنا على قضائها يا أكرم الأكرمين. اللهم اغفر لنا ولآبائنا ولأمهاتنا ولأبنائنا ولكل من له الحق علينا. اللهم احفظ لنا مؤسساتنا ومشايخنا وكل العاملين على الإسلام يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم احقن دماء المسلمين في أرجاء الأرض، في سوريا وفي فلسطين وفي مصر وفي كل بقاع الأرض يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم ألف على الخير قلوبنا. اللهم ألف على الخير قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا اللهم اغفر لنا ولآبائنا ولأمهاتنا. اللهم صل على حبيبك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم، وبارك اللهم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. وارض اللهم عن ساداتنا أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي، وعن الصحابة أجمعين، وعن التابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.